So, both the Labour and Conservative manifestos have now been unveiled, and I have summarised the key differences and similarities between both of them, and where I think which party will score and where the other one might lose out. Conservatives aim to resurrect the Help to Buy housing scheme, with setting out a target of 1.6 million new homes in the next 5 years, similar to Labour's new policy of setting out 1.5 million homes in the next 5 years. This is where I think is the first major problem for both parties, because if you have a look at the statistics, 1 in every 30 people in the UK currently have come in the last 2 years. And in this trajectory, there have been 2 million new migrants in the last few years as well. So building 1.5 million homes in a longer time period won't even scratch the surface to pre-COVID settings where the housing market had easily affordable homes for first-time buyers or any sorts of buyers here in the UK. The Conservatives have pledged for new tax cuts and an increase in 2.5% GDP spending on defence, similarly to Labour's policy of tax cuts through a new reformed national funding programme. For crime and policing, both parties have taken different approaches, with the Conservatives pledging to put forward more policing on our streets, especially in the Met Police, with Labour looking more at rehabilitation programmes by employing 6,500 new teachers, including some of those working in the reforming of crime sector. The Conservatives want to put a legal cap on migration, where Labour wants to take an approach of using those funds to fuel the skills of people in the UK rather than relying on immigration to take up the jobs domestically. In terms of education, Conservatives want to close down certain degrees and then use that funding to fund more apprenticeships, whereas plans to reform job centres and specialist cares for finding new work for people. Now, the key differences are the ways in which these policies will be done, with the Conservatives looking to stop national insurance for the self-employed, and Labour looking to set a cap of 25% for corporation tax. In terms of defence spending, the Conservatives have been very clear to get GDP spending on defence to 2.5% by 2030, whereas Labour wants to take a more measured approach and says this target will only be met once economic conditions are sufficient. Now, the strengths of the Conservatives is that they have clear and specific tax reduction policies, whereas Labour focuses more on public services and healthcare by increased investment in green energy and innovation in technology. Conservatives face backlash from the controversial immigration cap and the feasibility of having these tax cuts in place, such as GDP spending, when economic conditions are not the best and have been decreasing in recent years, whereas Labour's overly ambitious spending leads to concerns on where this funding will arise from, resulting in potentially increased taxes for the rest of us. Let me know what you guys think.